bought a brand new wig. Call that shit my kid. Then I drop the top and peeled it back. I call it splitting wigs.
That boy is Benny Honda.
He must not know I'm that bitch.
Hey honey bun, welcome back to my channel. You know it's Sway. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this video and my channel if you like the content that I have today, and comment down below. Today, so we're gonna do a lace front wig install my natural hair. I'm going to start by showing you all of the things that I use. I use a light skin wig cap. I also use these combs, some clips, some Ghost Bond glue, elastic band, and this is my wig. This is what it looks like up close. In the frontal, it's a frontal wig. Now we are starting the process of combing through my hair and sectioning it into parts so that I can create some big braids. I like to start my braids with some edge control and just braid all the way down and clip it. And I usually do this method to braid it into the next braid when you come in, and you'll kind of see me do that right here. So I'll pull it in and then I just braid it all the way down like that. I'm not really worried about how small the braids are at the moment because my hair is already straightened and everything. So I can really do some medium-sized braids and it won't pop up too big under my cap. Just gonna do this to the other side now. And we do the same thing. You can see like this is very tiring. Arms were very tired. But you just keep sectioning your hair and braiding it. You don't want to make braids that are way too big because then it'll be like too thick on your head and you can see the lumps up under your cap and under your wig. But some medium-sized braids, if you have like some my hair is kind of soft, so if your hair is kind of like mine's, then you should be pretty good. Just braid it into the last braid and braid it all the way down, and then you have your final braid. That's what it looks like. Ooh, now that I saw those edges, you gotta go in with some edge control, and this is just to bring all of the tiny baby hairs that you have and to pull them back so that you don't get glue on them and rip them out. Okay, so you go across the hairline and just slick it all the way down. Now we just oil it. Then we pull out the wig cap. This is a light skin wig cap closest to my complexion. I like to stretch mine out first so it's not too tight. Fold the braid. I don't need to sew it or anything, just fold it under the cap. I don't feel the need either to pull the cap all the way down across my face and across my eyes either. So for right now, we're just gonna pull it back right to the edge of the hairline. Go in with some isopropyl alcohol, and we're gonna go in with some cotton wipes. Add some alcohol to that and go in around the hairline and just wipe off the top of the forehead just to get all the excess oils and edge control off of the front of my forehead, because this is where I will be gluing down my wig. Alright, like I said, I don't feel the need to pull it all the way down my face, so I usually just pull it over my eyebrows, and that's about as far as I go because I still want to be able to see and I still like to be comfortable while I do it. Use Got to Be Glued spray, of course, and start spraying it on the hairline and pushing back into the hairline because it is runny when you first spray it, so you want to push it back into the hairline. And this creates the initial bald cap look. You can see all my little hairs that I have, and my hairline is kind of uneven. Oh, I forgot. I need to use my scissors and, yes, cut out ear holes in here so that I can accurately cover my sideburns with the wig cap. So be careful when you do this. You don't want to hurt yourself. And then go in on the sideburns with the Got to Be Glued. This is one layer that I put on here. And then I'm gonna blow dry that in. I was eating oxtails while I was blow drying, so that's why I was chewing. Now that we're done with that, we're going to get some foundation in my complexion and go on and behind the hairline. Take the wig, which is now freshly washed, and we're going to place it on the head and just size out, make sure that we glue down the right part of the wig cap to your hairline. Now we're going to go in with some Ghost Bond glue, and I kind of just smear it very lightly. Like, I don't use heavy drops, I use very light drops and smear it as the first layer. As you can see, I'm going straight along my hairline. All of the baby hairs and edges that I have, I'm literally going directly in front of those and creating a new line with this glue. Then I go in with the rat tail end of my edge brush, and I literally press down and push the glue into the wig cap and into my hairline. You want to push it in so that you are making sure you're gluing the wig cap to your forehead and that it's not just going to lift up instantly. See, as I press and I push it in. And then I realized that I still had to make sure that my sideburns are completely covered by the wig cap as well. And the last bit of my baby hairs that was poking out from underneath of the line that I created. So I'm just going in with the same method, adding a tiny dab of glue and pressing it in. Now, you just want to go in and blow dry that glue that you laid. Sorry about the background. This was a quick fix. Alright, now you're just going to go in with your hair scissors and start cutting your wig cap along your hairline. Be very careful. I did nip myself a few times with the scissors, but go right in front of the line that you created with your glue. And try to take as much off as you can and get as close as you can to the glue line. I actually nipped myself right there, right here, and I had to stop for a second, but I just wanted to zoom in so you can see how close I am trying to cut this. Notice that I have decided to keep the wig cap around my ears so that it can still hold down on my sideburns so that the glue won't lift while I'm still messing with the front of it. I just went in also and tried to cut off any of the extra little pieces that I could that were a little bit too far front of my hairline. Okay, then I'm gonna go in and cut off the sideburn separation. I usually leave it down in the back, around the back of my hair, but I do decide to go in and cut off little excess pieces like I'm doing now. But as you can see in the back, there is still, a wig cap sitting there. It's not glued or sewn down. Now I take this excess piece and clip it close so it still covers the back of my hair, and go in again with the alcohol wipe and go right across the front of my hairline to take off this excess glue and any excess oils from my skin once again. Okay, now that we have done that, we're just going to start dabbing in the glue on my actual forehead now in front of the hairline. And you want to make sure that you come down around the sideburns to make sure that you glue your hairline of your frontal in the right spot. Then we're going to go in and start pressing down with the glue, and I'm kind of moving in a backwards and forwards motion a little bit just to get it mushed in to the front of it. And you see how it's starting to pull it down. See the back and forth motion slightly. It's starting to press and pull it down onto my forehead, and this is the mixture that we want to get to try to get a melt going on here. Now we blow dry again. Make sure that the glue is dry. You don't want the glue to still be wet, and it starts to get itchy. Now we're going to put on this wig. Don't come at me about my wig. This is one of the first wigs I've ever made, and it was my amateur work, and it's still reliable. So now I'm just making sure that the wig is completely on in the back and that it matches the hairline that I created with the bald cap here. But I also have to be very careful because it will stick. I was trying my best not to press it down into the glue. I was trying to just make sure that the measurements were on. Now we just go in with the professional clips and clip the hair back so it doesn't get stuck in the glue while we're trying to lay the front of this wig. Make sure all of the baby hairs and everything are up from underneath of the lace and that everything is secured in position for you to lay your final layer of Ghost Bond glue. Again, I'm going in with this dab method where I'm just putting a whole bunch of droplets in succession and laying them flat, then drying again. This is then what my bald cap looks like up close. Now we go in and pull the front center of the hairline right on the front middle part of your wig cap and press it down with a comb. Do so about every inch. I would recommend pulling down tight and combing it in to the glue and into the cap. And make sure you pull your sideburns down all the way. Test the glue. See, it's not going anywhere. Pull your sideburns down and make sure all the baby hairs are from underneath of that. Make sure the measurement is correct and press with your comb. And you're trying to get a blend to happen between your hairline and the glue. Now we take an elastic band and put it around the hairline to press down the lace front into the glue. And you want to tie that down underneath of the ears and not over the ears to ensure that your sideburns are glued down properly. Tie at the back of the neck. Don't do it too tight, but tie tight enough to make it lay down. Now we brush it out. And I'm going to spray some Got2b glue very lightly at the edges, at the very front of the wig. This is to get that initial laid look at the edges. You see, I'm just combing it with a rat tail comb, combing it straight back and pushing it down so that the freeze spray can hold it where it is. This creates a very sleek look for your edges and also just in general for the front of the wig, for your frontal, it creates a very sleek look. And using this method, you can also do it with baby hairs or without baby hairs. I did not put a lot of Got2b glued, I put a very light amount. This is cheese straightening serum. I'm just doing a light spray of that. And then I'm going in with my hot comb, just a test. Last time I burnt my lace. This is not a hot comb with the temperature setting. This is one you put straight on the stove. But I'm going back into the hairline, into the frontal, and pushing back on this hairline. Now I'm gonna go in and figure out how and where I want to part my hair. Tested out the middle part, then I tested the side part, and I usually like to go for the throw over side part look. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a deep part right here. And I also have to go in and cover up the back of the lace front that connects to the rest of the hair. So I have to be very meticulous about this parting. Now I'm going in with some Got2b glue spray just to set the parting and comb that through. Now we go in and create some curls for the girls. You can straighten it out if you have wavier hair. I like to do a light spritz with some Got2b glued and then curl with my flat iron. Hold and release, and I kind of just basically repeat this around my entire head. Keep in mind the elastic band should be on your hairline until you are finished. doing your hair. And as you can see, I'm just doing drop curls around my entire head now and working my way up to the top. But I'm not doing them very close to the root. I'm doing them more around the area of my shoulder so that they can fluff out and have a lot of volume. And do the same to the other side. There's my boyfriend. He wanted to see how I did my hair. And now we're almost done. We're getting close now. We're getting up to the frontal area. We are just curling the bangs now in one direction, away from the face. And that's the last of the curls. And that's what it looks like. We're taking the elastic band off. I know the top of the hair isn't ideal, but I figured that out later, and I promise you I covered it up. Now we're gonna go in and start pulling out the baby hairs or the edges around the very edge of the hairline. I already had some edges already pulled out, but they kind of got stuck with the glue, so this is me combing them through. Now we're gonna cut the excess hair off the edges because we do not want them to be too long. So we're gonna cut these baby hairs pretty short. Now we're gonna go in with a little bit of mousse. Once you apply the mousse, you're just gonna start to give baby swoops and start to get the general shape of your baby hairs that you want going there. Mousse also gives your baby hairs a very soft and shiny effect to them. Right now I'm just going all the way down the frontal hairline, and I'm trying to pull out these baby hairs and work them with the mousse. Use some regular edge control when the mousse isn't strong enough. And I'm just going to place that right over top of the same place that I placed the mousse and start building my new baby hairs. It's a process, but you just get them how you want them. Make them look exactly how you want. I decided to pull one over, clip the end so it's too long, and give myself a little swirly swoop in the front. Now you just see me swooping the sides. And now I'm going to try to work with this other side. But that is the end of the baby hairs, and now we're going to take our clip out, do some last minute sprays. It got to be glued, just make sure that the style is set how it needs to be.